Today, we pull back the curtain on a case that refuses to stay silent. Stephen Twitch Boss, beloved dancer, television personality, and executive producer of the Ellen DeGeneres show, was found dead in a Los Angeles motel in December 2022. The official cause: suicide. But the details don't add up. His phone switched to airplane mode, a bag packed in secret, a motel room booked just a mile from home. Then, the voicemail, a final message, allegedly left for his wife. A message some say was more warning than farewell. And now troubling questions are resurfacing. What exactly did Twitch say in that voicemail? Why were NDAs reportedly signed at his funeral? And why does Ellen DeGeneres' name appear, not just in online theories, but allegedly in a note linked to the police report? The closer you examine the timeline, the stranger it gets. A celebrated man suddenly gone, grieving wife left, with more questions than answers, and a public still trying to make sense of the silence. Was this a tragedy fueled by hidden pain? Or was something or someone being protected? This isn't about gossip. This is about the truth behind a death that stunned millions, and it begins with a voicemail.
Okay, well, maybe I have one at your house.
Where's that? Now, what time would your party start, let's say?
Like 9:30.
Really, that early?
Yeah.
I could make that.
Yeah.
But I could think of you of starting a party at like midnight. Like, what time will it go till?
That's a different type of party, though.
Uh-huh.
No, it'll go from like 9:30 to like maybe 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And then, you know, we have the top 2 floors of the hotel.
And then it will carry on there?
Yeah. Then no, I mean the after party.
No, I know about them. I'll listen to the music.
Stephen Twitch Boss wasn't just a dancer. He was a light in every room, a husband, a father, and for nearly a decade, central figure on the Ellen DeGeneres show. For 8 years, he stood by Ellen's side, not just on camera, but behind the scenes, rising to become executive producer. So when news broke on December 13th, 2022, that Stephen had taken his own life, the world stopped. Fans were stunned. Friends were silent. This was the man who smiled through the screen, who danced through darkness. How could he be gone so suddenly? At first, the tragedy seemed unexplainable. But then, the whispers began. Stories that didn't quite align. Timelines that felt too clean. And one name kept coming up: Ellen. Rumors now suggest her sudden departure from the US may not have been just personal. Some believe it was strategic. A move made out of fear that after Diddy she could be next. Could there be a deeper connection between Ellen and Twitch's final days? Was this just coincidence? Or the start of a story no one was supposed to tell? Stay with us, because what comes next might change the way you remember both of them.
Early on the morning of Tuesday, December 12, Twitch packed a small bag with only a change of clothes and his handgun, slipped out of his house without telling Allison, turned his phone to airplane mode so he couldn't be tracked, and took an Uber to the Oak Tree Inn, a dreary 2-story motel in a hacienda-style building on heavily trafficked Ventura Boulevard, just a mile from his house, and paid $107 to reserve a room for a single night. Twitch made his way down to room 249 and let himself in. Allison reported to police that Twitch was missing shortly after he had left the house, noting with particular worry that she couldn't reach him by phone, and he had not taken his car with him when he left, 2 things that she said were very much out of character for him.
Because there were no details about Twitch's death, people just rushed to fill that void. This was at the time when Ellen had built this edifice as the nicest person on television. She would have YouTube stars, and all of a sudden that edifice was crumbling.
The news about Ellen created a wave of online criticism at the time.
Touching message from the widow of the dancer and TV personality and inspiration to a lot of us, known as Twitch. In her first social media post since Stephen Boss's death last week, Allison Holker shared this on Instagram, a selfie of the smiling couple. Holker left a short but powerful message. "My one and only, oh, how my heart aches. We miss you so much." Twitch was last seen in this Instagram video he shared on December 11th, doing what he and she were known best for, dancing. Just 2 days later, he was found dead in a motel room in Los Angeles. The death was ruled a suicide. Twitch was 40 years old. Since then, there has been an outpouring of support for Holker and their 3 children.
Just months before Twitch's tragic death, the Ellen DeGeneres show came to an abrupt and uncomfortable end. Behind the glittering smiles and daily doses of kindness, a different story had begun to surface. Allegations of workplace abuse, staff members speaking out, toxic culture hidden behind one of daytime TV's most beloved facades. The world was stunned, Ellen. The woman who built her empire on compassion was now facing serious accusations. And in the middle of this media storm was Twitch. He had been promoted to executive producer not long before. But instead of shielding him, Ellen pulled him in. During her public apology, she brought Twitch onto the stage, not to speak, but to stand by her, as if his presence alone could clean the slate. The tension was visible, his smile practiced, his silence louder than any words. Was Twitch being used to restore a broken image? Or was he caught in something he could no longer control?
Human beings are not designed to handle that much pressure. And when I was talking about my experience, his face was like, I know.
I learned that things happened here that never should have happened. I take that very seriously, and I want to say I am so sorry to the people who were affected. I know that I'm in a position of privilege and power, and I realize that with that comes responsibility, and I take responsibility for what happens at my show. This is the Ellen DeGeneres Show. I am Ellen DeGeneres. My name is there. My name is there. My name is on underwear. We have had a lot of conversations over the last few weeks about the show, our workplace, and what we want for the future. We have made the necessary changes, and today we are starting.
Ellen DeGeneres and Diddy. 2 names now whispered in the same breath, not for their fame, but for the shadows that follow them. Sources claim Ellen was a regular at Diddy's now infamous parties. Parties said to be more than just A-list gatherings. Parties where secrets traded hands at, and where some guests saw too much. Stephen Twitch Boss was reportedly among them. Close to Ellen, trusted. But what did he witness? Theories suggest he saw something. Something he was never meant to see. Something that changed everything in the months before his death. Insiders say Twitch tried to pull away, create distance. But before he could speak publicly, he was gone. And Ellen, she quietly left the country. No press conference, no farewell tour, just ... gone. Some say it was to escape the heat. Others believe it was something more calculated. Now her name is turning up in online forums, side court whispers, and in the same dark corners as Diddy's. 2 public icons. Sod, surrounded by silence. Linked by tragedy and behind the glamour. Of Hollywood, a question no one wants to answer. How many more secrets are buried beneath the spotlight?
Hey, everybody. Everyone is in pain and trying to make sense of it, and we'll never make sense of it. And the holidays are hard, I think, anyway. But to honor Twitch, I think the best thing that we can do is to laugh and hug each other, and play games and dance and sing.
The comedian hired Twitch for her talk show back in 2014.
Over a decade ago, I met someone who changed my life and our show. And I'm talking about you, Twitch. Come here.
He was the in-house DJ until the series wrapped earlier this year.
And I know it seems hard, it seems impossible, but that's how we honor him and hug each other and tell each other we love each other and let people know we're there for them.
In the final note he left behind, Stephen Twitch Boss didn't just say goodbye. He left blood. According to sources close to the investigation, the letter to his wife, Allison, revealed everything, or at least enough to raise serious questions. He described what he saw at those private parties' names, events, behaviors that, in his words, should never have been witnessed. Names he trusted, names the world still celebrates, and among them, ... was Ellen. He claimed he was warned, told to stay quiet, pressured, watched that the people around him weren't who they pretended to be. And just when you think the story ends there, it does. A second message, voice note, allegedly recorded for Ellen herself. It's never been publicly released. But its existence has been whispered in private chats, leaked group DMs, and buried in Reddit threads. Some claim Allison still holds the original file. Others believe it was wiped, deleted, or taken within hours of Twitch's body being discovered, if that voice note does exist. What? Did it contain a farewell? A confession? Or a warning meant for the world? And if it's gone, who made sure it disappeared?
We're learning more tonight about the tragic suicide of Stephen Twitch Boss and the detailed steps he took to hide his plans. TMZ is reporting when Twitch left his home the day before his suicide, he took an Uber to a motel about a mile away. At the motel, he switched his phone to airplane mode so no one could reach him. The motel manager says he checked in under his own name and never left his room. We also now know that Twitch left his suicide note. Details have not been made public, but TMZ reports the note alluded to challenges Twitch had faced in the past. Entertainer Tyler Perry knows firsthand what that is like.
I want to take you back to a time in my life where I tried to commit suicide a couple of times because it was so dark. I thought the only way to make this better, this pain go away, is to end my life. Had any of those attempts happened, I would have missed the best part of my life.
In 2024, something shifted. Just days after federal agents raided Diddy's Miami mansion, Ellen DeGeneres quietly vanished. No farewell tours, no final interviews, just dash gone. Her team released a simple statement. She's left the country indefinitely. But the timing was impossible to ignore. Ellen's sudden disappearance aligned almost perfectly with Diddy's arrest. An arrest tied to explosive trafficking allegations that rocked Hollywood's elite. And then came the transformation. A woman known for her platinum blonde image for decades suddenly dyed her hair brunette, a fresh start, or something to hide. She relocated to a quiet corner of England, far from the cameras, far from the headlines. But as Diddy's empire unraveled, Ellen's silence only grew louder. Why now? Why the drastic exit? And why, after years of dominating daytime television, would Ellen DeGeneres suddenly erase her public identity just as the world began asking dangerous questions?
They're losing their minds.
She sounded so sincere, didn't she?
Very sincere.
Virtually choke on her words. But the best one for me is Ellen DeGeneres, who is, by the way, a very nasty person. I've had dealings with her in Australia. Could I tell you some stories about that cow? But anyway, good riddance to her. But she was quite friendly with that P. Diddy bloke, wasn't she?
Well, this is why I say release the Diddy files.
Yeah.
Release the Diddy files. Come on, Donald Trump. We want to know whose name.
So maybe she's hightailing out of there before all that is thrown at her as well. But what a bunch of hypocrites.
Ellen DeGeneres and her wife, Portia de Rossi, have reportedly fled the US, bound for the UK, after Donald Trump's landslide victory. Numerous publications are reporting the couple have left the United States permanently. There are also reports the couple have put their Montecito mansion on the market. Entertainment publication The Wrap has the exclusive story and said, Ellen DeGeneres and wife Portia de Rossi have moved to rural England, put their Montecito estate on the market, and plan to never return to the United States, telling friends the election of Donald Trump was their primary motivation. Ellen DeGeneres has been a vocal Trump critic, so the move doesn't come as a surprise to most.
You're really bad. If you had to be stuck in an elevator with either President Trump, Mike Pence, or Jeff Sessions, who would it be?
Does one of us have to come out alive?
Ellen DeGeneres has been seen rocking a new hair color since moving to the UK. The comedian changed her signature blonde look to brunette as she was seen enjoying a night out with friends at a pub called The Farmer's Dog. Ellen went out with her wife, Portia de Rossi, and a few friends, including the Torn singer Natalie Imbruglia. Sources told TMZ earlier this week that Ellen and Portia moved to England because of Donald Trump's re-election. They have reportedly settled into their new home in the southwest region of England, but they purchased the property before the election. Hey, I guess if Ellen's got a new place, why not get a new do?
Twitch may not have been the first. In fact, he may have been one of many. Before his death, there were whispers. Rumors swirling around Diddy's name, dark ones. And then came Jamie Foxx, a Hollywood icon, a powerhouse of talent, a regular at Diddy's infamous parties. But something changed. According to multiple sources, Jamie was allegedly caught filming something he wasn't supposed to. Something dangerous. Something worth silencing. What was on those tapes, no one knows for sure. But shortly after Diddy reportedly found out, Jamie vanished. In early 2023, headlines broke. Jamie Foxx hospitalized, 'cause unknown. No details. No footage, no statements. For almost a year. Nothing, no public appearances, no press, no trace. Was it really a medical crisis, or something else entirely? And more importantly, how many others knew too much? How many more names are hidden in the shadows of Hollywood's most powerful rooms?
You know, so I was doing, of course, the stand-up, you know, doing the Wanda shit. And then it wasn't until literally, I was throwing these parties at my crib, and I would always throw parties for like musical guys, you know? So I threw a party for Puff. Puff comes and big party, it's like 2,000. Puff is there, and it's all about him. And I'll never forget, he got mad at me a little bit because I would follow him, and I would actually follow him with a camera, because at that time, Puff was the biggest guy in the world. You know, you couldn't even get in his parties. So the way I would get in his parties, I'd show up with a camera. Like, yo, Puff, you need to document this. And he turned around, what's up, Playboy? I said, yeah, let me get that, man. Ain't nobody getting this. And it wasn't back in the day with the, you know, with the camera phone. I had the big fucking Canon that you put on your shoulder and the light and the I said, let me change the battery, let me get all this.
Jamie Foxx, I don't know if you saw the one with Jamie Foxx saying the fact that when his special comes out, he's actually going to talk about the fact that Diddy's the one that poisoned him. Again, this is a story.
I heard that story too.
On the upcoming Netflix comedy show, Jamie Foxx expected to include the actor addressing a mysterious 2023 health crisis that left him hospital. This is from today.
Right.
For more than 20 days and recovering for months more, but has also sparked rumors it was Diddy. I may have some of the response for it. Okay, which Combs' camp has denied, but Fox has not. I mean, of course Combs' camp is going to deny,
right,
but it's what Fox is going to say, because everyone's interested in what Fox's story is.
But now if you go and you look further about the number of people that have had this sudden death thing happen to them that are related to Diddy, it's like some viral lung or something, like some weird.
In his long-awaited Netflix special, Jamie Foxx finally broke his silence. He didn't name names, but the implication was loud enough to shake Hollywood. According to Fox, Diddy was the reason behind his mysterious disappearance. The illness, the silence, the nearly year-long vanishing act that left fans confused and investigators puzzled. But just weeks after the special aired, Jamie was attacked. It happened at a luxury hotel in Beverly Hills. A sudden, violent altercation. One that left him injured? Coincidence? Or calculated warning? Some say this wasn't just an assault. It was a message, a signal to anyone watching. Speak out and you're next. Was Jamie's attack random, or was it a carefully timed move to silence a man who knew too much?
Actor Jamie Foxx was injured during an altercation at a Beverly Hills restaurant. Foxx is speaking out about the incident, which is being investigated by police. It comes just days after the Oscar winner revealed for the first time that a brain bleed caused him to suffer a stroke last year. Here's ABC's Phil Lipoff.
Tonight, actor Jamie Foxx is recovering after an altercation at his birthday dinner in Beverly Hills left him needing stitches. Local police received a call about an incident at the high-end Mr. Chow restaurant near Rodeo Drive just after 10 p.m. Friday night. A representative for the actor saying someone from another table threw a glass that hit Foxx in the face. It's unclear whether Foxx was involved in the fight or merely a bystander. No arrests were made, but the investigation remains ongoing. It has already been an eventful month for the Oscar winner. In his recently released Netflix stand-up special, Foxx opened up about the mysterious health crisis that put him in the hospital for several weeks last year.
I was fighting for my life, but I'm here in front of you.
Foxx telling the audience a doctor gave his family a grim diagnosis.
He told my sister some horrible news about her big brother. He said he's having a brain bleed has led to a stroke.
But now, the actor is proud he beat the odds.
Said I couldn't walk, but look at me now.
Now walk in. And Lindsay, Fox appears to be keeping this positive attitude through this latest incident, writing on social media this morning, "The devil is busy, but I'm too blessed to be stressed." Lindsay?
Fox, brushing it off. Phil,
He walked out ... free. Again, despite damning videotapes, dozens of witnesses, and physical evidence that told a story darker than headlines dared to print, Sean Diddy Combs was found not guilty. Not guilty of racketeering. Not guilty of conspiracy. Not guilty of sex trafficking. But here's the twist. He was convicted of something. The jury found him guilty of transporting to women. Cassie Ventura and another woman known only as Jane for the purpose of prostitution, and yet, somehow, the rest of the puzzle didn't fit. One critic put it bluntly: how can you be guilty of transportation, but not the crime it was for? Another voice online echoed the confusion. That's like convicting the getaway driver, but pretending the robbery never happened? Was this justice, or another carefully orchestrated escape? The verdict has left the public divided, and victims fearing what comes next.
But he's going to get the maximum. The judge will give him the maximum, just like they gave O.J. Simpson the maximum in Vegas, because he got off Simpson in L.A. when he clearly killed these two people. And then when they got a second crack at him on a minor beef, relatively, of theft, they sentenced him to heavy time. So Diddy will go to prison, and he should. He's evil. And I say that because I just wrote a book called Confronting Evil.
Yeah,
he used narcotics and violence to coerce people to do what he wanted to do. That's evil. Sorry.
Go ahead,
Okay,
Stephen.
Now, back to Trump.
Well, hold on. Stephen wants to weigh in on what you just said. Go ahead.
Okay.
Only thing I want to weigh in, I don't want to castigate the entire culture. I'm tired of, we see pictures of a few bad apples conducting themselves in very disgusting manners and thinking that that's the entire industry. I'm a guy that was raised in the hip hop industry. I know an abundance of hip hop artists and beyond who have never engaged in, never been accused of, never would think of putting themselves in the kind of positions.
Well, the verdict is in. Sean Diddy Combs has been convicted on 2 counts of transportation of his ex-girlfriends to engage in prostitution, but cleared of the most serious charges against him. The music mogul has been found not guilty of racketeering conspiracy and 2 counts of sex trafficking. The charges he has been found guilty of are connected to his 2 former partners, including singer Cassie Ventura and a former girlfriend being referred to as Jane. In the U.S., it is a crime to knowingly transport any person with the intent that they engage in prostitution or illegal sexual activity. The 12-person jury deliberated for 3 days before reaching the verdict. The maximum penalty for each of the 2 guilty counts is 10 years in prison plus a fine.
How you feeling? Not bad. How are you?
Anything you want the public to know?
Not yet. We'll be saying something soon. Thank you. We're hopeful that ultimately he receives a substantial sentence for what he's done, and we're pleased that Cassie's brought to light everything that has happened in this trial. I just spoke with her and with the U.S. Attorney's Office team, and she's in a good place. She's pleased that, again, that the jury has found him liable, actually guilty of 2 felony crimes.
It's absolutely a win. The defense took a really big gamble going to trial on this case. Really, any time that a defendant chooses to go to trial against the federal government, it's a big gamble. They have a lot in their favor, and it really paid off for Combs.
Today's a great victory. It's a great victory for Sean Combs. It's a great victory for the jury system. You saw that the Southern District of New York prosecutors came at him with all that they had. They're not stopping, but one thing stands between all of us and a prison, and that is a jury of 12 citizens. And we had a wonderful jury. They listened to every word, and they got the situation right, or certainly right enough. They acquitted him of the sex trafficking, which he was absolutely innocent of. They acquitted him of the racketeering conspiracy that he was absolutely innocent of, and all of the components to it. The kidnapping, he was innocent of that. The arson, he was innocent of that. the obstructing justice, he was innocent of that. And that is no longer just me saying that. That is the verdict.
The clock is ticking October. That's when the final gavel will fall. That's when Sean Diddy Combs, once untouchable, will face sentencing. The charges? 2 federal counts of transporting women for illicit purposes. The potential sentence? 20 years behind bars. But will he actually serve them? Whispers online suggest otherwise. Some believe he'll walk with nothing more than 6 months of probation, maybe a few hours of community service, a slap on the wrist. For a storm that's been brewing for years. For now, though, Diddy waits. Locked inside a Brooklyn federal facility, no bail, no more private jets, no more power plays, just steel bars and silent nights, till the judge decides how this chapter ends. But here's the question everyone's asking. Will justice finally catch up to Diddy? Or will this be just another escape?
Aaron, we know that sentencing hearing scheduled for the fall. Sean Diddy Combs has already been in custody for about 9 months now, and he's also facing dozens of civil lawsuits. What more does he have ahead of him before that hearing? We know, I think it's on October 3rd.
October 3rd at 10 a.m. is when Sean Combs is going to be sentenced for his conviction on 2 counts of transportation for the purposes of prostitution. Each of those counts carries a maximum penalty of up to 10 years. And so prosecutors pointed out in their letter to the judge his total exposure is 20 years in prison. And the judge today, Whit, said that Combs's propensity for violence was starkly depicted on that 2016 hotel security camera footage. That may well factor into the judge's sentencing decisions. In the meantime, Sean Combs will continue to be incarcerated at MDC in Brooklyn, the federal jail in Brooklyn, where he's been since his arrest.
Cassie is no longer just a witness. She's a target. As Sean Diddy Combs sits behind bars awaiting sentencing, a chilling warning has surfaced. In a letter addressed to Judge Arun Subramonian, attorney Douglas Wigder made it clear. Cassie fears for her life. She's not alone. Those who took the stand, who broke the silence, they now live in the shadow of retaliation. The message from Cassie's legal team is direct. Mr. Combs is a danger not just to the victims, but to the entire community. Why would someone who's already convicted still hold this much fear over others? What power does Diddy still wield, even from behind a cell door? These aren't just legal fears or survival instincts. And with sentencing approaching, the stakes have never been higher. Will the system protect the voices that finally spoke up, or will silence return?
Cassie Ventura's friend Deontay Nash has sent a letter to the judge requesting that he deny Diddy's bail. You know, Deontay Nash is one of Cassie's friends, and he was also her former stylist who testified against Diddy in his criminal trial. He testified about multiple instances of violence that he endured and that he also saw Cassie Ventura go through. Now he has just submitted a letter to the judge asking that he deny Diddy's bail until Diddy is sentenced on the 2 charges of prosta. Deontay Nash said, "I am writing to express my grave concern over the prospect of Sean Combs being released from custody. While I appreciate the fairness that you have shown throughout this proceeding, I feel compelled to be unequivocal about the danger he possesses to the public and to the individuals who have risked everything by coming forward. Mr. Combs has a long, well-documented history of violent, coercive, and retaliatory behavior. Over the years, he has repeatedly escaped meaningful accountability, and each time, this has only reinforced his sense of impunity. If he is released now, I have no doubt that he will see it as yet another license to continue intimidating, threatening, and harming people who challenged or exposed him. Many of us have firsthand knowledge of the fear that he instills in those around him."
Gene Deal has spoken, and his message is crystal clear. The verdict doesn't matter. Damage is done. Diddy's career is finished. Not because of what the jury said, but because the world has seen too much. 30 for witnesses, dozens of testimonies, leaked tapes, private parties, public secrets. There's no one seeing what's been exposed, no one hearing what survivors have shared, and no denying the pattern that's emerging. The courtroom may have cleared Diddy of the most serious charges, But outside those walls, his empire is already crumbling. The question isn't if his legacy is over. It's whether the truth will catch up to the lies that protected him for so long. And who's next?
They already knew this was going to happen. What did I say, Mighty? I said that if it goes before January the 4th, it ain't going to look good for the prosecutor. Didn't I say that? I said that means that they probably just get him on the sexual charges. But if it goes past the 4th, that means they really want to do their job and see and get this nigga a lot of time. Because they knew they had proved the sexual with the dudes, you know, paying them to come and have sex with the girls and everything like that. But we found out a lot of things about this dude in this trial, bro. A lot of shit none of us even knew. But they celebrating this. This dude is psychotic. I don't care what you say, bro. You look at some of the stuff that he did, and like I say, that's what's good in the hood now.
Diddy isn't done, not by a long shot. As the court battles drag on, something far more dangerous is unfolding in the shadows. Witnesses are being watched, and those who spoke out. They're now looking over their shoulders. Roger Bonds, a former celebrity security guard and longtime insider, claims that Diddy didn't just want silence, he paid for violence. A hit on Gene Deal. Not metaphorical. Literal. According to Bonds, Diddy sent people to physically assault those who dared to speak his name, and this isn't new behavior. In an interview with Piers Morgan, another bodyguard, known publicly as Big Homie CC, revealed he too had been threatened after breaking his silence. The message was always the same: keep quiet or suffer. But if intimidation is still part of Diddy's playbook, what else is being covered up? More importantly, who's still too afraid to speak?
Sam, but he was like, yo, if y'all see Gene, I'm telling y'all, man, somebody better punch him in the face. Somebody better do something to him, man. He out here doing this, that, and we be like, all right.
Okay, so when was this? Because was Gene doing interviews at this point?
Yeah, we talking like 2008, 2009. Gene was spreading the word. You know, Gene was always bad-mouthing Gene.
Wait, hold on. Vlad TV started in 2008, 2009. YouTube was really early.
No, he wasn't doing YouTube and stuff. He was going around talking a lot of shit. And we all from Harlem. So he was just talking a lot of and it's a small, Harlem is small.
So what was Gene Deal saying during that time? What did you hear?
He basically was talking about Puff fighting women, hitting women. That was going on with him and Kim. Puff being gay, you know, with him and Usher and shit like that. He was talking the same shit that he's talking now on a major scale, but he was spreading it around Harlem.
Okay.
So it was basically a thing where, yo, if y'all see, man, I'm telling y'all better hear, he got hands put on him, this, that, and the other. But we seen him, you know what I'm saying?
Well, Pierce, let me ask you a question. From your journalistic perspective, have you ever noticed how in this industry, people untimely meet their demise soon as somebody else seems like they're having a problem? Have you ever seen that before?
Well, there was, of course, the case of one of his other ex-girlfriends, Kim Porter, who died of pneumonia at a very young age. You've just referenced your own situation with pneumonia that you believe was deliberate poisoning. Do you believe that may be what happened to her?
Why are so many people coming down with pneumonia? Why is that happening to everybody? What is that about? Where have you ever seen this many cases of pneumonia associated with one situation? So, you know.
There were rumors.
I'm not saying.
Well, I was going to mention on this that there have been rumors circulating online that Diddy may have poisoned Jamie Foxx, which caused his 2023 hospitalization. In his Netflix show, he compared Combs to the devil in revealing his near-death experience after a brain bleed and stroke. He said, I say this all the time, I saw the tunnel, I didn't see the light. It was hot in that tunnel. I thought, shit, have I gone to the wrong place? I looked at the end of the tunnel and I thought I saw the devil saying, come on, or was that Puffy?
Another name, another soul, buried beneath the glitter of Hollywood's golden stage. Stephen Twitch Boss, a man who danced with light, now reduced to a whisper and a scandal too dangerous for daylight. He didn't leave behind just a goodbye, he left a warning. Map of secrets, carefully traced in ink and silence. But that trail, the industry swept it clean, and Diddy, still moving pieces behind the scenes, playing a game that's cost lives, trust, truth. But the walls are closing in. October is coming, and with it, a single question: will justice finally come knocking? Or will the machine protect another untouchable name, too powerful to fall? We don't know the answer yet, but we'll be watching. We won't look away.